Hello again everybody, my name's Lauren, making another video on something else I've come across on the internet and thought I'd like to share with you, give my views, and then hopefully you can get in touch with me and give me your opinions as well. What it was on the Liverpool Echo, who have now given you the chance to basically rate the 2017-18 season. It's really cool. I'll put the link to it in the description. I haven't actually done it yet. I've had a quick read through the questions, but I haven't actually done it yet. I'm going to do it now. And just give my opinions, and obviously you don't have to agree with them, but this is how I feel Liverpool's season has gone. So, first question is, how would you rate Liverpool's season? 0 being worst thing possible, 10 being beyond our wildest dreams. Well, it's neither of those. It hasn't been beyond our wildest dreams because we didn't win the Champions League, ultimately. But I think we have exceeded expectations, which is strange in a way. Start of the season, I was hoping Liverpool could get top 4 in a trophy. That's what I was hoping for. My expectations were, with everything going on, was that we were going to finish outside the top 4 and maybe just have to focus on going on a cup run in the League Cup or something like that. But, we ended up getting to the Champions League final. We ended up finishing comfortably in the top 4, I think. I mean, there was a little rally from Chelsea at the end, but never really felt in any danger. For me, it was a good season, getting another Champions League place and to almost go on and win the European Cup for a 6th time. Yes, we didn't win it, but it wasn't a case of getting totally outclassed by Real Madrid in the final. Things just didn't go our way, and there were individual errors from certain players as well. For me, I would rate this season an 8, because I think that not only have we done extremely well, but I think we've left fans feeling really optimistic going into next season. Next question, in terms of league position, where did you expect Liverpool to finish? Again, I'm going to be absolutely honest and say that I thought start of the season Liverpool were going to finish outside the top 4 come May, purely because everything that was going on with the Coutinho saga and the fact that targets that we were trying to get, we couldn't get through. Obviously, we tried to get Van Dijk in the summer and that deal fell through, and other deals weren't coming off. There were positions I felt we needed to strengthen, which we just weren't doing. So with the transfers in mind and everything surrounding Coutinho, we never knew what Salah was going to be like. For me, I felt we were going to finish 5th. How far did you expect Liverpool to go in the Champions League? Well, for me, getting through to the group stages, and then when the group was announced, minimum expectation had to be to get out of the group. Obviously, Sevilla would be a challenge, but I think, particularly the other teams, Spartak Moscow and Maribor, would be expecting to beat those both home and away. So, excuse me. So, for me, I expected to get out the group, and then I did expect us to win the group, which we did. And then last 16, I felt quarterfinals was where we could get. Never in my wildest dreams thought that we'd be able to get to the final and be in with a, potentially 90 minutes away from winning it. It was amazing. But quarterfinals was what I thought at the start of the season, given the favourable group we were given. In line with these expectations, how far did Liverpool meet them this season? Well, I predicted Liverpool to finish 5th in the league and to get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, given that we had a favourable draw, which we did in the end. So in the end, they've exceeded the expectations because, that they finished in the top 4 when I didn't think they would. And they've got to the final of the Champions League when I thought they would only get to the last 8. So for me, it's got to be a 9. I would have put 10 if we'd won the whole thing, but 9, it was still pretty awesome. Next question, who was Liverpool's player of the season? I think this is an easy answer. I can clearly say it was Mo Salah, but there's some other wonderful players on that list. I'm going to skip through because the next question is quite interesting. Aside from Mo Salah, who was Liverpool's player of the season? So we're basically asking who was Liverpool's second best player this season, and we've got the list here of players. Yes, he's a left back, but you could almost say Andy Robertson. When did he have a bad game? I can't remember. Mane had a stage in the season where he was a little quiet, but overall he's ended up with fantastic return of goals and assists. But I think, we've questioned Firmino's finishing for quite a while, but then this season he just started banging in the goals on a consistent basis, and he just become the all-round number 9. And I think I said in a previous video that I wouldn't swap him for any other striker in world football. So for me, Mo Salah was the star, but big credit has to go to Firmino as well. He's so important to Jurgen Klopp's system. Bit of a negative one now. Who was Liverpool's biggest disappointment this season? I wouldn't say Karius, obviously. He had the worst individual performance of the season in terms of the mistakes he made in the final, but I don't think he was disappointing. In fact, I think this has still been a good season individually for Karius. I think he has got better. I think he has won quite a few Liverpool fans round. I think, yes, we should go for another goalkeeper this summer, but Karius shouldn't be sold. He deserves to stay at the club next season and to play in maybe the lesser games, if you like, and still deserves to play for Liverpool. I don't think it's a case of he should never play for Liverpool again. Other options, Mignolet, well, yes, he was disappointing, but then he got dropped out the side and was almost forgotten in the second half of the season. Matip was very disappointing because I rated him very highly when he first joined. His first few performances really excited me, and his injury problems and his performances since really haven't impressed me. Emre Can, it wasn't the performances that disappoint me, it was the lack of commitment and, of course, not signing the new contract. Adam Lallana, though, was the most disappointing for me. Last season I was so impressed with him, his return. I do understand, obviously, with the injuries, and I do feel sorry for him in that aspect, but I think when he has played and got onto the pitch, he just hasn't affected games, and I think even with the injuries, he's played enough games to get at least one assist or something like that. No goals and no assists from a player we consider an attacker. Really disappointing. And then in the Champions League final, I thought that just summed it all up. I mean, I forgot he was on the pitch. He was just invisible. I thought he was our biggest disappointment of the season by far. But Matip, I think, is lucky that I'm not taking him. Who was Liverpool's best signing of the season? I think we could say any of the top 4, to be honest. Clearly Salah's goal return's amazing. We've finally got a proper left back again in Andy Robertson. Virgil van Dijk has just transformed that defence since he come in, despite only being here for 6 months or so. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, well, he just got better as the season went on. Such a shame about the injury. Dom Solanke, that didn't really work out in terms of being a plan B, but I still think he's got great potential and one to keep an eye on. But I think it's clear that the signing of the season was Salah. Next question, how would you rate Liverpool's transfer business from 0 to 10? Well, I mean, to get Salah in today's market for just £39 million, it's the bargain of the century, isn't it? Andy Robertson as well, we paid virtually nothing for him, and he's the best left back in the country at the moment, again in my opinion. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, he's been transformed since we got him from Arsenal. And as I said, Virgil van Dijk, he's been incredible. He's been worth every single penny we've paid for him so far, I think, and he's only going to get better. Now he's going to have a full pre-season's training under Jurgen Klopp, especially Netherlands not going to the World Cup. Obviously, it's a shame for Virgil, but them not going to the World Cup means he can just think solely on Liverpool and train and get ready to really be in the best shape possible for next season. Our transfer business was fantastic in the end, despite me being very critical of FSG in the past. I will give it an 8. The reason why I don't give it a 10 is because it's a shame that we couldn't get a top-class goalkeeper, which we really wanted last summer, and also it was disappointing watching us in the summer trying to get Van Dijk. It was a real mess. Things could have been even better for us, I think, if we'd signed Van Dijk 6 months earlier. So that's why it's not a 10, but close to a 10 for sure. Next question, what was Liverpool's goal of the season? And we got some, of course, incredible goals here. For me, the goal of the season has to be Salah's opening goal against Roma in the Champions League semi-finals at Anfield. I mean, just what a goal. He couldn't have put it any further into the top corner. It's a classic case of 2 keepers in the goal still would have saved it. I think you could have put 5 goalkeepers in there and you wouldn't save it. It was just brilliant from Salah. what a goal, and just sums up his season really. World class. Other great goals though, of course, on that list, but for me it has to be Salah's goal against his former club. Best result of the season, and again there's some wonderful, memorable games there. For me, I'm going to go for the 3-0 against Man City at home. If I could pick the 2-1 Man City away, I would have gone for that, but unfortunately it's not been listed here by the Liverpool Echo. So I'll go for the 3-0 at home. We knew it would be difficult. For me, it was almost certain that Man City would come to Anfield and walk away with an away goal, but they didn't. In the end, it was the perfect performance, the perfect scoreline, 3-0, and just really showed that Liverpool are a different animal in Europe, and they're always going to be the benchmark for other English teams in Europe. Just a brilliant night, and really got us believing. But of course, the 5-2 against Roma was amazing. The 5-0 away at Porto was awesome as well, and it was also cool to end Man City's unbeaten run in that 4-3. But for me, out of those options, it has to be the 3-0 against City at home in the Champions League. Worst result of the season, well, there's some stinkers here, isn't there? Clearly losing to Manchester United, never nice. The Man City away, well, Mane getting sent off early on changed that game. Swansea won, they were so disappointing off the back of beating City 4-3. And going out of the FA Cup, well, it was a chance to win a trophy gone, or one of the trophies gone. So that was disappointing as well. But I narrow it down to 2. The Champions League final defeat, of course, disappointing. Not the fact that we played poorly, but the fact that so many things went against us, and we'd got all the way to the final, ultimately just to come up short. It's disappointing. But I'm going to go for the 4-1 at Wembley against Tottenham. So disappointing. The defending on that day was abysmal. It was all about Dejan Lovren, and not in a good way. We were all crying out, why didn't we get Virgil van Dijk? It was a terrible result. I'd started the season not feeling too optimistic, and then our away form at that point really wasn't good. We were conceding so many goals on the road, and then we went and let in 4 against Spurs, and we played so poorly. And for me, that has to be the worst result of the season. I've never felt so negative about the team, but now I sit here never feeling so positive and optimistic. Crazy. Keep the faith in Klopp, that's what I say. Next question, what position do Liverpool need to strengthen most this summer? For me, it has to be the goalkeeper. We know that Simon Mignolet's not good enough. He's had plenty of time to prove himself and hasn't done it. Karius has improved this season. As I said, I still think it's been a positive individual season for him, but the mistakes in the Champions League final cannot be ignored. They were so obvious, and I think a goalkeeper is a priority. Defence, I think we're okay. Maybe another centre half, maybe a backup left back, not sure. Midfield, we're improving anyway with Keita coming in and Fabinho in the attack. I think we need backup options, but clearly we don't need any replacements for the front 3. Not including Fabinho, how much more money should Liverpool spend this summer? Well, it's not going to be less than 50 million, because you'll be paying more than that for just one player alone these days. So we've got Keita coming in. If we're going to get Fekir, he'll be about 50. So that's 50 already. And then we need a top class goalkeeper who will probably cost another 50. So that takes us up to 100. Then we need another sort of backup striker, which will cost you about 20 million. So 120. And then possibly a couple of other little signings which might add up to another 10 million. So we're probably going to spend 130 million this summer, I think, to improve the squad in the way we want to. So I'm going to go for the middle one. I certainly don't think it'll be the last one. I don't think we need to spend that amount of money. Although if FSG want to do that, I'm not complaining. But it certainly shouldn't be the first one either, of course, not in today's market. How many signings do Liverpool need to make? Well, we need a goalkeeper. That's one. We still need to find that Coutinho replacement in the middle of the park. So that would be Fekir, so that makes it 2. I would have said a holding midfielder, because we've got Fabinho, so he doesn't count now. I think we need a backup striker, so that makes it 3. And I think we also need a player that can be a backup winger as well. So I think we need 3 or 4 signings. I'll say 4, because I hope we get 4, but 3 should suffice. You can select more than one now. Oh, I'm looking forward to doing this. Who should Liverpool consider letting go this summer? I might tick Mane, Firmino and Salah, why not? Well, I think Mignolet needs to go. I'd keep Karius as a backup. Danny Ward can stay. Andy Robertson, of course. I'll keep Moreno. Alexander-Arnold obviously going to stay. Gomez, Lovren's earned himself another season. Van Dijk's going to stay. Keep Matip. Claver may go, but I would still keep him. Jordan Henderson should stay. Milner, Wijnaldum. Grujic is an interesting one. Does it say Liverpool letting go? I'm going to click Grujic, but that's for a loan rather than a permanent transfer at the moment, because I know he's done well at Cardiff. Lallana, I would let him go whilst he's still got good resale value. Oxlade-Chamberlain will stay. Mane, Salah, Firmino, that's clear. Danny Ings, I think for the good of himself he should go. Dominic Solanke, I think needs to go, out on loan. Daniel Sturridge, he's out of contract at the end of next season. Sell him whilst you can. And Divock Origi, mixed reviews from his time on loan at Wolfsburg, but I would keep him. Which loanees should be given a first team chance next season? Not Sturridge for me, not Grujic. Origi, not Markovic. Possibly Harry Wilson in the cup games. That's 2. Which player linked with Liverpool do you want to see at Anfield? I don't know if you can tick more than one, can you? Oh, you can only tick one. Okay. Which player linked with Liverpool do you want to see at Anfield? Well, I want to see Fekir at Anfield. I'd love to see either of Alisson, Oblak or Donnarumma. Zaha is a player I'd love to see us sign. I can't believe we can only click one. For me, if I had to sign one player out of all of those, it would be the one that I've already got selected, Oblak. I think he could go on to become the best goalkeeper in the world one day. I think he's just brilliant. And yes, he would cost a hell of a lot of money, but that's your goalkeeping position sorted for the next 10 years or so. And really, it's not that expensive when you think of it that way. So I'm going to go for Oblak. But love to see Fekir at Anfield as well. Which major league should Liverpool be focusing on for players? It's a bit of a daft question for me. I'm not really sure. I'd say Serie A because there's quite a lot of talented players over there, but then Klopp would be wise shopping around in the Bundesliga. Premier, I don't know. It's a bit of a daft question, that one. I'll go La Liga in the hope that he looks at Oblak. How would you rate the job Jurgen Klopp did this season? 0 being worst, 10 being best. I think he did a great job with a low transfer budget again, sell to buy scheme with Coutinho going to finance the transfer of Van Dijk. I think he did a great job, and certainly not his fault that we came up short in the final. Salah got injured and individual errors, which of course nobody but carriers can control. So unfortunately, people go back to his record of losing finals, but Klopp losing that final certainly wasn't his fault. Getting into the top 4 was a great achievement. We know that getting into the top 4, there's real competition to do that these days. I'll say an 8. How would you rate the job FSG did this season on a scale of 0 to 10? My goodness. Well, I was very disappointed that they did everything they could to keep Coutinho in the summer, only to then go and sell him 6 months later. It was actually pointless. They probably had an agreement with Barcelona in the summer that they would let him go in 6 months' time, but it seemed pretty pointless to Liverpool. And then the fact that they were saying to Barcelona, well, can we have him back on loan for the rest of the season when he was our player under contract, was unbelievable and really did show a lack of steel from the owners. But I think this season they will back Klopp. I think that the chequebook will finally come out. Good, because I don't know where the money's been hiding all these years. This season they did an okay job, but this summer I trust them to back Klopp and get it right. For this time though, I'll give them a 6. As things stand, where will Liverpool finish next season? Wow, 7th or lower, my goodness. I hope not. I'd like to say first, of course, and be optimistic, but I think Manchester City will be favourites again to go on and win it for a second successive season. For me, with the signings we are getting linked with, if we get those targets, then I think it's realistic that we can really challenge and finish second. If we get the targets we're linked with it as well, then yes, I think it's possible for us to win the title, but I'm not going to say that as much as I want to put it. I'll put second and hope that they prove me wrong and go first. And how important is it that Liverpool win a trophy next season? 0 being not important, 5 being extremely important. Well, I think it's a 5. As well as Jurgen Klopp has done, you know, the ultimate way to see how good a team really is by putting silverware in the cabinet. And so far, Klopp has done a great job, but hasn't managed to bring any trophies home. We've had lots of cup finals, but no winning finals, unfortunately. Next season, I'd like to see us win something, even if it's the League Cup. I say it every year, Liverpool have got a aim to win a trophy this year and they don't seem to do it, but I think next year it is really important that we show that we're not just going in the right direction by playing good football, but that we've got the silverware to back it up as well. Hopefully we win the Premier League. We'll go one better and win the Champions League. No, but any trophy next season, I'd like to see us win it. I think it's really important, you know, to show how far we're going to add silverware to the cabinet. And it'll be good for Klopp's CV as well. Any other comments? I'm not going to bother with that. It's been a long video as it is, so I'm going to submit that. There we go. I think it was submitted. I don't know. There we go. So that is my review of Liverpool's 2017-18 season, reaching the Champions League, 4th in the Premier League. Not so great in the Cups, but who cares? Allez, allez, allez. See you later.